Hello, my Stitchy friends. How are you today? I'm so glad you're here. My name is Laura, and you found Laladi Stitches. This is the first real Flosstube of the new year. I did do a whip parade at the start of this month, but this is going to be the first time we're like talking stitching, active stitching. So I'm excited. I'm excited to share things with you. I have a lot to share. Let's see. I have my handy dandy plans all written out, so hopefully I can focus my brain and convey things clearly. I have had quite the scattered brain for about a week, so wish me luck. May the odds be ever in my favor. Okay, so I had a couple questions from December's video, my last Flosstube video. The first was about my white Christmas sweatshirt. It's a great sweatshirt. I found it on Etsy. It is still available as far as I'm aware. The shop is called Custom Tea Box. But if you just Google, or not Google, but go into the search bar of Etsy and search white Christmas sweatshirt, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I was looking specifically for a white Christmas sweatshirt, and there are a lot of really cute ones there. It was a debate which one to get, but I've been very happy with that one. It's really cute and comfy. It's super cozy. I'm big into sweatshirts right now. They're like blankets that are clothes, and I'm feeling that vibe. I've got some sunshine popping through. It seems to happen. It must be the world smiling down on me when I do my floss tubes. It's cloudy until I hit play, and then boom, sunshine. The other thing I wanted to do was both my whip parade videos and my last Flosstube video. The comments have been so encouraging and supportive, and I just really wanted to say a special thank you for that. I always read all of your comments. I try to go back and catch up on them. I'm about a week and a half behind right now. But I do read them all as they come in, and you guys are just so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing my crazy, happy, chattery time with me and just being so lovely. I really appreciate it. It's very encouraging. So I just wanted to say thank you. I've done a lot of stitching. So this video, I did not include my 12x12 starts, so my New Year's 12x12 starts in my whip parade. So you'll get to see those, and then I have since stitched on some of them again because my rebellious heart, it's not even winter outside. Okay, we had at the start of the year that, I forget what they called it, polar cold weather. The whole country got it. The whole North America got it. Just this polar vortex. That's what it was. And oh my goodness. I mean, my parents live in Nebraska, and their high was -25 for a few days. And so they were being very careful about, letting the dogs out. They could only be out for like 4 minutes before they risked frostbite. And the dogs didn't even want to go out, so it wasn't like they had to fight really hard, but crazy weather. We got colder than normal weather for our area. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle area, and average temperatures are probably around 40-ish this time of year, with some dips, and some higher days. So it's just, probably in the mid-40s is an average for this time of year in my experience, my whole year's experience, a year and a half. But our high one day was 10. So that felt very, very cold. And we definitely dipped into the negatives for our lows. And we didn't really get a lot of snow we were very fortunate. The precipitation missed us. We were just far enough north, so we didn't have to deal with much ice. There was some ice just because there's a lot of moisture in the air around here. I am not a meteorologist. I'll stop talking about the weather really quickly here. But anyway, so it was cold, but that's like the closest we've got to feeling like winter weather all winter thus far. I mean, technically we're only a month into winter, so it could still happen. But, you know, those were cozy days. I just stayed in. Gracie and I don't know if you can see her back there. She's sleeping in her bed. Little curly coo. But so we just stayed in. We watched, you know, TV shows. I binge watched Band of Brothers, and which always makes me emotional. And what else have I watched? A lot of documentary stuff. But then I also have been binge watching True Detective because the new season is, you know, slowly releasing. I think we're 2 episodes into it. So good. So I watched all the other seasons. Anyways, cold weather brought cross stitching and cozy fires and lots of TV. But it's been good. So I've done a lot of stitching. It's been good. I would love to say I've been reading a lot, but I have been reading, but not a lot. So lots of stitching though. So let's just dive into it. I will stop chitter-chattering at you about life catch-up. That's probably enough for today. Oh, I have so much to share. This is going to be fun. Let's look at my planner real quickly because I've had some interest in it. So this year I'm using Hobonichi Weeks, which I just bought off of, there are several places you can get them. It's a Japanese planner. I buy mine off of Amazon. And I tend to watch the blogs and the influencers who do plannery things. And so I kind of, you know, I scope it out in August and I know what I'm wanting, and it sat in my drawer teasing me for months before I actually got to use it. Anyway, so I'm going to really quickly show you how I'm using that, and I'll keep it brief. But it's part of my plans for this year is using this. So I wanted to just kind of explain how I'm using it, because I've kind of teased with it, but not really gone into it. All right, enough preamble. So this is it. It's super cute. It has that little Kitter cat with his sparkly fishing, and I love the artwork. It looks like the artwork is by Hiroko Kubota. See if it'll focus on the words. Nope, doesn't want to. Anyways, it's darling. I love it. And I've got it in this little protective cover. Not that it really goes from the sewing room to the spot where I stitch in my living room. But what I do love about this is if I do go on a trip, it's really compact and easy to take with me. So, and we do have a couple of travel-y adventures this year. So in the front, I did it's almost like a vision board spread. It's projects and color palettes. So I'm actually working on Fab Farm. This is my strawberry quilt inspiration that I'm working on. This is one of my 12 by 12 new starts. These are a couple of quilts that inspire me, and I'm really feeling these like almost pastel, purpley, pinky color palettes. And I'd really like to start another Afghan some point this year, since I finished my Afghan last month or 2 months ago. So kind of a fun little spread. And then the next page that matters is the calendar. So in here is where I've written my cross stitch themes, and I just scribbled it over the month itself. So my themes this month are winter, February is literary, March is magical March. Then we've got flowers for April, Mira May, summer stitching in June, sci-fi July / oceans. We'll see how that goes. It'll probably lean more towards sci-fi July because I've got a couple fun projects now. Sunflowers in August, So basically summer again, but more specifically like I have some projects in mind, and they are heavily influenced by sunflowers and bees and stuff. Whereas the first summer will probably be more like patriotic holiday kind of lighthouses and flags and stuff like that. September is owls and pumpkins. Spooky October, autumn November, and Christmas December. Those ones really don't change because they're so heavily influenced by the holidays. So the next chart is kind of this funky one where it goes by month and then you have each day. And so I've got a little key up here. I'll highlight, if I start a project, I'll just highlight the whole day. So the first, I started 2 projects, I think. If I finish a project, I highlight a day. You'll see I did finish something. Ooh, teaser. I'll put a dot if I quilted and a dot if I cross-stitched. This is feeling a little busy to me. I might just simplify it next month to just the starts and finishes, because that's really, like, it gets, when I stitch gets tracked in my calendar spreads. So this I'm using just, the calendar spreads I'm using just like I did my book of days. So it's just tracking what I actually cross-stitched on that day. And you can see I cross out the days I don't do any stitching. So I should put a big red dot or black spot on the days that I have to rip out everything I stitched, because that's happened a couple of times. And then these are weekly spreads. And so I kind of, like, through my 12 by 12, I wrote I highlighted if I start a project, and then I'm writing what I actually did on this side and then putting my plans on this side. So this is just blank dots normally. Let me see if I can show you, not dots, but grids. There you go, that's a blank spread. So this side I'm doing kind of goals, plans, who I watched, what I'm reading, just kind of everything. And then this one is what's actually happening on that day. What am I actually doing? So, here's where I did my whip parade. Started 2 projects, so they get a highlight, and then just kind of what I'm doing. My goals, I've already achieved my January goals, which feels really good. And you can see, like, I love decorating and whatever. The creativity part is really fun, but last week was a hard week. I did do some things, but I didn't decorate. I didn't make any goals. Like, it was an existing week, and that's okay. That's okay. This week I'm back at it. I love these little stickers. My sister got these stickers for me. So cute. Anyway, so I've been watching some stuff, reading some stuff, I'm tracking that, and then we're just at the start of the week. So that's how I'm using those kind of tracker pages. The initial calendars are strictly cross-stitch, and these ones will be both cross-stitch and reading, and that's one of the reasons I switched from the book of days. So I have been tempted to get one just because I like the idea of, like, a shelf of little skinny book of days. I'm not going to, but it's kind of a fun idea. Anyways, so I want to be able to track both my quilting, well, basically all of my handcraft hobbies. So occasionally I do a little knitting. I do know how to knit and crochet. So if I have those, I'll kind of sprinkle those in. And then I have obviously my quilting and my cross stitch. With my quilting world, I won't go too deep into it just because I'm going to do a quilting video in the next week sometime before the end of the month. Just to kind of recap what I've been doing, because I've been doing a lot of quilting. I had a lot of things prepped before the end of the year, and so I've been able to just kind of like process those things, do a lot of piecing, and so I definitely want to show that. But anyway, so I'm liking being able to track both things, which is fun. This is my actual vision board spread. So these are projects I have in my hot little hands, and I would like to finish this year. We'll see how that goes. But if nothing else, they're inspiration. I mean, I'm not going to get Teresa one. So I started and finished, that's just a pipe dream. But it's inspiration, right? Things that make me happy. So, and then I've got my goals, actual goals. So I want to stitch from stash this year. I am designing a quilt for my niece, so I want to get that done. I want to quilt 5 of my tops that are languishing in a box in my closet. I would like to finish 12 cross stitches and do more wool applique, which I have been woefully negligent of. So then in the back there are 70 some blank grid pages, and I've only used a few of them, but I've got my quilting goals, my cross stitch goals. These are some of the 12 projects I would like to finish. One is already done. Some of the quilts my quilt tops I want to have quilted by the end of the year. The other ones are tops I would like to have completed. I have some small projects that are just like not really quilting, but like they involve sewing machines or crochet or whatever. Gifted projects, we'll just scoot by that. And then here is how I sorted my 12 by 12. And so it's just really fun because it gives me these are, so I've got a January, February, March, blah, 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 blah. And I'm tracking my new starts. So my goal is to do less new starts this year than last year. But I'm not like closing that door. I want the freedom. If I've got stuff in my stash and I get inspired, I want to be able to, start something new. That's fun. That is part of staying creative and excited and everything for me. So I am going to allow myself new starts. In fact, I have planned new starts. And then I'm not doing a strict no-buy necessarily for the whole year, but for the first 6 months, I'm trying to stitch strictly from stash, with the exception of Nashville Needlework Market, which I will talk about at the end because I have a plan, you guys. It's gonna be awesome. Anyways, so whips, I haven't decided how I'm gonna use that. I had an idea, but then I changed it. This is my wish list. It's how I'm managing not buying things. These are, anyways, it's fun. It's good. It's been a useful format for me so far, all 3 weeks of the year. Anyway, so I'm enjoying it. That's how I'm using it. And if I do anything funky or amazing, I will update you. But I'll at least show you my monthly spread every month, because that's basically my book of days. So fun. Okay, yes, I've done that. I can set this aside, take a sip of my coffee before it gets cold. Might be too late already. That's okay. I brought in water as a backup. I should be drinking more water anyways. Okay, let's look at my finish. So I've got to get my thing out here, since this one was started before. So last January I started Cottage Garden Samplings Swans, and it is beautiful. And I got kind of the outline of the top of the wings, and then this whole body and this whole neck stitched. And then I found out that I had somehow, don't ask me how, I had missed about 7 rows. So, all of these cute little decorative motifs in the neck there. And that just wasn't going to work. So I was a good girl and I ripped out all of this white. And when I pulled it out this year, this is where she sat, post rip out tragedy. And it kind of killed the enthusiasm for the project, though I certainly loved it. But I don't think I touched it the rest of the year. I think I tucked it away and was like, all right, we'll come back to it next winter when my heart is less sad. So I pulled it out this year, and and it just like hit the spot. It's the only wintry project in my arsenal that is truly, it just has been a joy to work on. And I didn't put it down for 3 days straight, and I finished it. I'm glad the sun went away so you could get it like in its glory for a second. So this is stitched on 32 count seraphim linen. The color, the dye color, well, that brain glitch there is Witching Hour. And it is fabulous fabric and I adore it. I made 2 floss switches. So I substituted, there's a very soft, this soft gold yellow that goes around. It pretty much outlines every shape in the swans themselves. That was supposed to be a DMC. I subbed it for a Weeks Dye Works honeysuckle. You know, that probably wasn't necessary. It does add a couple of magical moments. I don't know if it'll show on camera. No, it's all going to read the same. But you can in person see a very subtle variation through that outline. I love it. It's kind of magic in person, but you can't really see it on the camera. So probably not necessary. But the one I do love is I subbed 3064 for terracotta, and that is this wing color in here. And you know me, I like a little extra movement, a little extra magic, and so I'll sub for some overdyes here and there, and I love it. I'm so glad I did. I barely had enough. It was totally playing chicken to get the last few stitches in the front swan's neck. But it's so beautiful. So it's my first finish for the year. And it felt really, really good. I just so enjoyed it. And it's been sitting on these little clips on my table because I don't have a frame for it yet, but I wanted it out because I'm loving it. Anyways, yay! So my first finish. I'm going to take it off the board for a hot little minute so I can use it with showing you guys things. Can I set it here? Let's that hold it. Stay. We're good. Okay. Ugh, I wish the sun would go back behind the cloud because it's made it warm in here. Okay, drink some water. All right. So that's the first thing. That's exciting. Now I keep these little cards that have my stats on it, my start, my finish, information. And it gets to go in my stack of finished projects. And you know what? I just realized I forgot I was going to, sorry, bang, bang, bang. I was going to kind of get some stats for you for this video of like how many things I actually finished, how many things I started, though maybe that's less important. Oh well. I don't have it. I know I finished a lot of things. So here's the first one for this year. And now we're going to dive into my 12 by 12. So my 12 by 12, I've decided to just, as I mentioned earlier, I've done some work on them again through this month because I've felt rebellious against winter because it doesn't feel like winter outside, but it's, other than we've had a couple of lovely like partly cloudy days, like today it's like cloud, sun, cloud, sun, cloud, you know, like it just, the wind is moving the clouds pretty quickly. And so today's a nice day, but really I would say out of the 23 days this month, 20 of them have been dismal, dark, rainy days. and that's okay, but it just has not felt very wintry. So I haven't felt very wintry, and I've been very uninspired to stitch wintry projects. So I'm kind of rebelling against it, and that's fine. I've tapped into my 12 by 12 starts, and that's been really good. So we're going to go through in the order I started them. Let's see here. I need to turn that way. There we go. Beautiful. I don't think I need that for a minute. Okay, so the first start, so first, I had a question, that was another question. What is 12 by 12? So 12 by 12, I don't remember who started it. I just heard it down the grapevine. But basically the original idea is that you have 12 starts or 12 whips, and you work on one project every hour for the last 12 hours of the year. So New Year's Eve, counting down to the new year. And I did, last year I did, I think it was like 4 or 5 new starts and 6 or 7 whips. And that was really fun. But I did find that I did not, an hour doesn't give you a very big start, especially if you run into, like, on a few of my projects, I had missed something in kitting it up, or I needed to go grab a needle, or I got distracted by whatever. So I wanted to kind of do it differently this year, but I was doing starts instead of mixing whips into it. Because I had a lot of things kitted up, and it was awesome. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But what I wound up doing was basically starting Christmas Day, I did one start every day, and then however many projects were left on New Year's Eve, that's what I started. And I just kind of like did a few in the morning and a few in the evening, and it was great. It really took the pressure off of it, and I got bigger starts on some of them. So let's go into that. First one is Kingfisher by Sue Coleman, or the Stitching Studio, I guess. The artwork is by Sue Coleman, and she has a whole series of them. They are absolutely gorgeous, with the Native American artwork kind of echoing whatever animal is featured in the stitch, and there are quite a few that I would love to do. I saw this and I was like, oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Like, it's fairly big, but I mean, it's fairly tall, but a lot of these are half stitches. It's going to go so fast. My start is rather pathetic. Because what I didn't realize is that I started kind of a center start. And so I wound up working on the Native American artwork part, and it is quarter stitch, 3/4 stitch, heavy. What that does, though, is create really fantastic edges. Like, it defines it really nicely without needing to back stitch it. So this is really awesome. That's my first start. This is being stitched on Picture This Plus pewter. It's a 28 count linen. Let's get back a little bit. That's pretty accurate. It's a very icy gray with a very low undertone of blue to it in person. Anyway, so that's my start. It doesn't look like much, but it takes a lot of focus to do 1/4 and 3/4 stitches and stuff. So something I learned, but I think it's going to be really quite awesome. So on a good head day, I will pull this out again. And honestly, once that part's done, the rest will indeed go a lot faster, because it is still a lot of half stitches and stuff. So, but that's the first start. And it was fun. It was good. I'm excited about that project. For as piddly as the start is, I am excited about that one. Okay, next one was The Lord's Prayer by Lila's Studio. And I'm stitching this one for my husband. He really liked it when he saw it. So anytime he shows interest, I'm like, all right, I'll do it. And it is one that I was actually really, really excited on. I stitched on it several days. So let me show you. I guess it's kind of big. Oof. So here is what I have. And sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. Okay, there we go. That's better. So I'm stitching this on 32 count Heartland. Picture this plus 32 count. And if you get up real close, you might be able to see the holes where there once was a border. So I actually got really excited about this. This fabric is gorgeous. Oh, that shows it really well. It's very warm and rich, and the stitches are laying lovely on it, and it's just gorgeous. I really, really love it. But so I worked on it. I think I just did this little bit for my start, and then I was like, oh, I want to work on it more. So I went out this way, anyways, doesn't really matter. Basically, I started working down, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that border all framed in. And basically I came around, I'd gone down like this, and then I started this way, and I came around, and I was like 2 stitches off. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. I've had relatively good luck with borders so far, though this is the largest one I've done. Oh, it was tragic. I was very sad. And so, you know how it goes. When you run into a big glue blah blah, you have to figure out where things went wrong. And I had missed 1 stitch down in this corner, which was really close to where my thread was. So it was like a recent error. I was like, okay, that's easy, no big deal. So I pulled it back just a little bit, and then, here, I'll show you on the picture. It was right down in here. So I pulled it back to like there. It wasn't that bad, and I put it back in, making sure it was correct, and it was still off. So then I knew I had made a mistake somewhere else, and oh my gosh, what a pain. What a pain in the butt. I found out that it was up here, so I had to pull all of this back. Ugh. But I did it. I think I found the error, and I put it down, like I marked my pattern to come back to it. And I put it aside and worked on something else, and the next day, or in the next 2 days, I came back and I was like, okay, today I'm not stitching, I'm just pulling that out. So I pulled out all of my work. And now I'm fairly confident I'm able to start stitching again. But there's a part of me that wants to, there's still this whole border in there. So, and I know the top is correct. So I want to double check all of my stitching along this side before I really dive into re-stitching all of that. Anyways, long story long, I still love it. I love, love, love how the colors look on this fabric, and that makes it very enjoyable to stitch. But I've been a little nervous to dive back into it. I will, because it's beautiful and I want to work on it. But that's the story of the Lord's Prayer. I am making a few color substitutions, so you may have noticed there was some variegation in my greens. This one is charted completely in Versoix silks. I think those are silks, or DMCs. And so I had made like a little swatch of the called for DMCs, and then kind of picked where I thought a variegation would have the most impact. And I thought, okay, the vines, and then a couple of the greens, the words will be a different color, though still dark and lovely, and then a couple of the flower colors. So just to give it a little something something, and I'm loving how it's turning out. But yeah, wish me luck on that one. Next one, oh, I have a picture for this one. I'm actually prepared, which feels good. Okay. La, 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 la. Nope. How do we get back? Here we go. Main pictures. Okay, so this one is a free chart available on Owl Forest Embroidery. and it was done as a stitch along a few years ago. 100 Owls. It's fantastic, and I've wanted to stitch it for a couple of years, but never pulled the trigger on it. This is the year it has begun. I'm stitching it on a 28 count, so it will be large, but that's okay. 28 count. Picture This Plus Valor, which is gorgeous. Might be one of my favorite green fabrics. Try to get the color. Let's see if I show a little. Sometimes if you show a little white, it seems like the camera registers. No, it's going to read very gray. Greens are tough. Greens and purples, it seems. That's okay. You'll just have to trust me when I say it's beautiful. So this is where I am. I do not have the kitted colors. They dye their own floss. Owl Forest Embroidery does. And I am using predominantly, I'm not going to say it right. What's it called? Cottage Garden threads, which come from Australia. They're gorgeous. I love working with them. So it's predominantly those with a few, Weeks or Gentle Art or Classic Color Works thrown in if I didn't have the right color. And I'm just pulling as I go. So I've got a big ring of floss of kind of my base colors that I think will work for it. And then I'm looking at the original picture and then choosing colors that I think will kind of read similar and then allowing myself to make tweaks as I go. So I'm loving it. It's so fun to do. And this owl is turning out so sweet and feminine. I don't know, it's kind of like a antique-y rose color in the kind of overexposed. Stupid sunshine. Anyways, that's my start. So I did the New Year's start. I just started on the vine and then I've worked on it a couple more days and I'm loving it. It's wonderful. I don't know exactly how big it will be. There's one more little motif up here, but I think I left myself a pretty good margin on the top and the bottom. So, but it'll be good size. That's okay. I was talking to my mom about that. Like, I have found the last year or so, I've had, if you've been with me, you'll know that I've had increasing frequency of migraines, like really bad migraines, for the last couple years, and it's gotten worse in the last year. And so it's made it harder for me to stitch on really small counts. I do have a handful of projects on really small counts, and they're so pretty. But I can't work on those a lot of days. I have to have a really good head day and really good light. So, bigger counts are easier. They are more fun they're more comfortable, and so that because of that, they're more fun to stitch on. And so I have a lot of projects on 28 to 32 count. And that makes some projects like this 100 Owls rather large finishes. But I was talking to my mom, I was like, why do I stitch? Do I stitch to have this gallery of my work? That's fun too. I definitely love seeing my stuff around the house, and I have a few specific projects that I definitely envision in my home, but really I'm stitching for the enjoyment of the process. So it doesn't matter if they turn out giant, because did I enjoy stitching it? Was it fun? Was I able to be creative with it? Yes. Then it's served its value, right? So I don't know. There's my little soapbox. It was an interesting conversation. Okay, Enchanted Aurora. So if you stitch on big counts and you're seeing all of these marvelous, insanely talented floss tubers out here stitching on 59,000 count, don't feel bad that you're stitching on big counts, because I'm there with you and it's awesome and we're having fun. So Enchanted Aurora, Joan Elliott was such a, I saw this and was like, need that. It's so good. The owl, these Arctic critters, oh my gosh, the colors, beautiful. beautiful? Whatever. It's beautiful. I love it. And I have figured out with some looking what fabric I'm stitching it on. I didn't know at first. So here is where I am. I started this, I don't know what day exactly I started it, but it's on 28 count. Picture this plus Phantom. And you can see the color blends are starting to come into play, and it's fabulous. And this is the tip of the little Arctic fox's nose. You can kind of see that structure, and these holes are some of those white leaves that are sprinkling out of her arms. And then this purple is the first, like, not blue or green, and it is the beginning of the ribbons that kind of twirl down her skirt. It's so beautiful, and this fabric is fabulous. I have to use, oh, I didn't bring it in. I have a little neck light that I bought on Amazon that is great. It charges, and so it doesn't take batteries or anything, and I can point it right onto my work, and that makes stitching on navy blue much easier. Yes. So fun. So this one has gotten, actually, this is what I've stitched on the last couple of days outside of my 12 by 12 starts. I think I started this around, I think I started on winter solstice because that just seemed appropriate. I don't know why. And then I picked it up a couple days ago. So it's been really fun. That one's an exciting one to watch grow. Okay, next one is Heartstring Samplery Coffee Quaker. It's part of the Magical Elixir series, part 2. So she has a whole series of coffee themed stitches. And last year I did her Coffee First, I think is what it was called. So it's the lady with the cup, and she has like a stalk of coffee beans, and it was fun. So this one it will ultimately hang with her on the coffee themed wall. Hopefully my next place has a good spot in my kitchen to hang things, because this one does. And it would be sad if I didn't have a coffee spot anymore for my coffee themed projects. Anyways, I am doing a complete color conversion based on the palette in my kitchen. And I'm stitching it on 36 count Fog Lifter by R&R, and then just pulling colors from Stash. So first I drink the coffee and I've got the beginnings of my first Quaker motif in there. It's lovely. This is such a pretty, again, kind of an icy blue. This is what I'm stitching my Shores of Hawk Run Hollow on, and I changed my formatting for that one, so I was able to cut off a big chunk of it and use it for this. So, a good start. See, I really enjoyed not just having an hour to stitch on them. I feel like I got a lot more done. Oof. Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm warm. Okay. This next one, I've got to find the original picture here. I marked the pattern, not the not the image. So this comes from Cross Stitch Happy Days by Kyoko Maroka. And I love this book. I love everything about this book. It's absolutely, the designs are just fabulous. She is one of the designers for Gara, and I have several projects there. So when I saw she was making a book, I was like, done. Make it so. So this is my first project I'm doing it from at Flora and Fauna. And you can see it's got 12 adorable little monthly images. And I love them all. The colors are delightful. So, sorry about that. Here is my start. So you can see I am eliminating the month name at the bottom. I'm just stitching the image square. I'm stitching it on, what's my fabric? Well, that's helpful. Linen. I think it's a ivory. It's just a solid linen. I think it's ivory or soft ivory or classic ivory or something like that. It's a 14 count, so 28 count. And I'm stitching it 2/2, called for colors. And I'm eliminating the names and just stitching the squares. And you can see there's not a ton of space in between there or in my margin. That's intentional. That is because I am going to stitch all of the designs, all 12 of them, and then I'm going to cut them all apart and I'm going to put them into a wall hanging. So this will become a quilting project once all of them are stitched, which I think will be really, really cute for a spring wall hanging. Ooh, I'm very excited. Very fun. All right, let's see. I'm trying to lay these down gently here, so my space stays relatively organized. Okay, this is the next one. You've seen it. It's very popular right now. I have this series on auto ship because it's fantastic. This year's Cottage Garden Samplings is a house series, and so one thing, last year they did snowmen and they did a teaser. And I was super excited about the first one, and then by the second and third, I was glad that I hadn't signed up for an auto ship because I loved like 4 or 5 of them out of the series, and the others were like, okay, and some of them I just plain didn't care for. But they were a mystery, like they were just numbered, whereas this year they gave us like their teaser again. But with it, they said what kind of house it will be. And I'm so excited. So after seeing the list, I signed up for auto ship on them. And I got this one in December. I started on Christmas Eve. And this is how far I am. I love it. So this is 28 count Macchiato Lugana by Bestitch Me, which is my other monthly subscription. I get 1 fat quarter every month from Bestitch Me. And what a pair they make. Ooh, I love it so much. I flew through it's Classic Colorworks Ladybug of the initial red in the house. And then I started on the roof, which is not the called for color. I didn't have Plymouth Rock and it wasn't available anywhere in December because obviously this is amazing and everybody was snatching it up. So I switched it for Baker's Clay, Gentle Arts Baker's Clay. So it's darker, but kind of the same vibe as the original. And I actually really love it. I really love it. So I'm glad that I couldn't get my hand on Plymouth. So I started down the roof. I got almost the whole roof done and then it wasn't matching up. I was like, what did I do wrong? Well, I hadn't put this white in and I was stitching it right next to the red. So it was like 3 stitches too low. So I pulled out the roof, let it marinate for a couple of days, but I was loving it enough. I pulled it back out and I've put the roof back in and moved on. Oh, it's so lovely. It's so magical. It's really a fun stitch. I've enjoyed this. I've stitched on this for several days this month, even though it's not Christmas, which is very unlike me, but I've been enjoying it. So there's that. Oof. I do have the second one, which I'll show you in my plans later in the episode. So I decided last time I got to the end of my whip parade and I was kind of rushing and skipping over things that I might have said, and everybody was so kind in their comments and saying, oh no, keep chattering, we love the chatter. And so I've decided, I've gone into this video like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy it, and if it winds up being a 2-hour video, so let it be written. Maybe I'll just wait a little bit longer before my next video. It's fine. I'm just gonna enjoy the process because I've got a lot to show because of the 12 by 12. So the next project is Seasons of the Heart by Brendan Gervais. They are amazing. I love all 4 of them. I started with winter, and I'm stitching it on Wicked Tiny Stitches. So this is a 40 count brown sugar by Fiber on a Whim. I don't know why I started this on a 40 count, but I did, and it is so itty bitty teeny weeny. That's how far I got before my brain was just like, okay, I need a break. And I haven't picked it up again. I was hoping to do 1 a month. This piece is big enough that if you quarter it, I can get all 4 with a nice margin in it. And they'll fit, which is maybe why I chose it, so I could do all 4 on the same fabric. It's lovely. This is not the called for color for the house. I don't think I wrote down what it is, but I didn't have the called for, so I have just been subbing out of my stash, and I went a little bit darker, but still kind of a wintry green. Yeah, that's my start. I'll pick it up again, but again, it's 40 count, so it's got to be on one of those good head days, right? And because of that, I have released myself from the requirement of getting 1 done every season, because I think that's not realistic with my head being the way it is. And that's okay. I have plenty of other projects that are good for bad hair days, like the next one, which will be heavily featured in February. Bella Filipina, the Mad Tea Party. Oh my gosh, this one, as soon as it was available, I had it on order because it's all the good things. It's so good. I love it. I mean, everything. We've got the timepiece, the mushrooms, like a nod to the Queen of Hearts up in the hat. It's so good. And the colors are fantastic. Ooh. So I am stitching mine on a 14 count Aida, which I've never done a fancy lady on an Aida before, but you know what? I'm not going to be hating on that because it's awesome. This is my start. I'm so excited to stitch on her again. I almost did this week, and then I pulled out Aurora instead because I was trying to stay in a more wintry theme, at least for another few days. So this is Fabrics by Stephanie, Busy Izzy, 14 count. And it's stitching lovely. We're gonna get overexposed because we've lost our clouds for a minute, but look at that fabric. Oh, so good. So she looks pretty low on the fabric right now, but she's got a head, and then there's the big arch that comes over, and really, I think it was just a little too tall to be able to do it this way and have a good margin on it, so I'm just using the whole piece. It's fine. But it's really cool fabric. It's really awesome, and it just feels very Wonderland, doesn't it? I can't wait to get more colors in it. Yeah, this one will be fun. I'm very excited about that one. But that's just the 12 by 12 start, so that's what I got accomplished with that one. Okay, the next 2 are kits, so I won't hold them up as long because they're full coverage kits and I just barely started them. So this one's called, oh my gosh, I thought I turned those off. So I did do research into those reactions, I think they call them, and you're supposed to be able to go into your settings in FaceTime and turn them off, but apparently I need to, and I did that, like I Googled it, and it's just a new update. And so when you do certain motions, I'm not entirely sure what they are because I've tried to like activate them before and it doesn't work. It just happens really randomly. Anyways, I thought I had them turned off. Apparently not. I will continue to investigate that. Anyway, this is called Along the River. It's so gorgeous. This is gorgeous. This is artwork. Really, really beautiful. And this is my start. I mean, full coverage. It takes a while for it to really become anything. And this is an 18 count Aida, so there's a lot of stitches But this is just that top roof line of the hut. Whoops. There you go. Apparently I like an upper right-hand corner start on my kits. I seem to be fairly consistent with that. You'll see that again in this one, which I adore. Watching the sunset. Oh my gosh. The colors in the flowers, the puppers on the steps, the girl that's pretty much me sitting and watching the ocean and feeling her soul heal as she listens to the waves and the seagulls, and she can smell the salt in the air, and oh, so good, and a lighthouse to boot. That's how much I got. The sun's playing games with us. There we go. Anyways, again, it'll take a while. It's interesting. I appreciate the grids. I don't rely on the grid. Like, the other fabric was a gridded Aida, and that's really nice. Just to kind of give you a guideline for where it is. Like I said, I don't rely on it if I'm not like, yeah, I don't rely on it. But it is odd that one kit from the same, oh no, never mind. They're two different companies. One was Letty Stitch and the other one is Luca S. I take it back. I'm making drama for no reason. Drama-free zone, Laura. Gosh. It's awesome. I do miss the grid a little bit. That's what I was getting at. It's fine though, because I don't rely on it. Next one, Forest Home by the Blue Flower. I've only done the 12 by 12 on this one, so no more than I got done that day. But I think it's going to be really cool on this fabric. This is from Oak Crown Studios, Lurking in the Woods. It's 28 count linen. It is gorgeous, and it's a nice feeling linen. Like the picture this plus, it's a nice heavy base for the dyeing on, so it's really comfortable to stitch. I stitch in hand, so I really like linens that have a bit of body to them. I struggle. I have a few pieces that are on a Weeks Dye Works, which is a very lightweight linen base for their dyeing, and I don't care for those projects because they're very floppy. I don't know. I'm sure if you used a hoop that wouldn't necessarily be the case. But next one is the Pink Sparrow sampler, and I love this one. I saw it the first time I saw it was in last January when I was in Nebraska, and then but I didn't buy it because I was buying a bunch oodles of other things, and I've done a floss toss on it because I really was thinking about buying it, and but I kind of decided I didn't care for a lot of the called for colors. They were just a little darker than, like, this feels very springy to me, and they were a little darker than kind of my brain was translating the color. So I knew I wanted to do a color conversion on it, and that would take time. And so it just didn't happen that day. But a few months later, I couldn't get it out of my head, so I bought the pattern. And, 6 or so months later, it became part of my 12 by 12. So this is being stitched on 28 count Lugana from Bestitch Me. It's one of my monthlies. Lightly Roasted, Not Salted, which is this lovely blushy peach. It is so pretty. As I mentioned, I'm doing a full color conversion. I think I only kept 2 or 3 of the original colors, and I was flying through this border, and then I ran out of my floss because I'm working from stash, and luckily my friend is coming to the rescue. She had a skein of Gentle Arts Bayberry in her stash, and we're meeting up to stitch on Friday, and she's like, I got you, don't worry, girl. So I've been saved. Anyways, I'm loving it. So I've got my first few flowers, and I did that the other day after I ran out of green vines. And you can kind of start to see the fresh springy magic. Lovely. I really like this one. And it's not too giant. Even though it's on 28 count, it's not a huge project. It's only 137 by 169. So much smaller than like the Lord's Prayer, which is on the same count, but like 4 times as big. Next time I'm doing this on a rainy day. I'm so worn. Or not wearing one of my cozy blanket sweaters. Maybe that was a mistake. Okay. I'm fine. I'm just being dramatic. Next one is Little House Needleworks. Needlework ABCs, which I'm pretty sure I bought this in, Reflections and Framing. So I bought this one in Nebraska. They had a sample of it, and it was done like on a big count, and so it was like big, and it was really cool. It was in this like almost a reclaimed wood kind of frame, and I really, really liked it. So I bought the pattern, and I am not sure what this fabric is. I don't know where my little card ran to. I thought I had made one for each of my 12 by 12 starts, but apparently not. I am confident it is one of my Bestitch Me fabrics. Or is it? I was confident. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I know it's a 28 count because that's how I do it most of the time. That's my start. Very exciting, I know. It'll be fun to get some of the other motifs. I think it'll go really fast once I focus on it. I think the most tedious part will be this little lacy edge that goes down. Not that it's like hard, but you know, it's just the same thing forever and ever and ever. I'll keep looking for, I swear I had a fabric card. I'll keep looking for that and see if I can't figure out what that fabric is. It almost looks like Picture This plus sand now that I look at it, but it's an even weave. So it's gotta be one of my Bestitch Me fabrics. I don't know. Anyways, next, this one was a kit, and it's interesting. The floss provided is a wool acrylic, and I had never, and it says and cotton. That's only the black for back stitching is the cotton. The rest of them are wool acrylic. And it's been very interesting to work with. I actually quite love it. It feels like, I mean, I don't love this Aida they've provided. It's very stiff, but it feels like needlepoint. Like the finished effect is lifted and full, and like the coverage is stupendous. That's how far I am, which doesn't look like much just because it's all pretty much boring so far. And the back stitch is definitely going to be the magic in this project. All his little feathers and definitions, his nose is all back stitch. But it was really fun. I should pull it out again and do some more work on it because I was enjoying it. It's very satisfying. Something about those big fat stitches is plushy and good. Which is nice to know because I have another one that's a full coverage. I might change the fabric on that one now that I've done a little bit on this. But it's a full coverage. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But it is also a wool acrylic, and I was wary about it just because it was an unknown. I mean, I've used wool thread before in wool applique wool applique in the past, so I'm familiar with like a fuzzier thread, but I'd never done it with cross stitch before, so that was fun. Earth Angel, she is my New Year start, so we've made it through the 12 by 12, and now for the most part, and now we're at the New Year's starts. So this is lavender and lace. She is so gorgeous. I love her. I'm stitching it on a 28 count. Picture This plus. The color is Feldspar 2/2, called for, oh gosh, she's gorgeous. So this is her shoulder, the swoop of her billowy sleeve. I'm excited to get into the earth and the little flowers because there's actually a surprising number. It looks pretty monochromatic in a lot of ways here, but there's actually lavenders and some kind of plum colors in the leaves, and the greens. There's like 5 or 6 different greens that go into the earth, and it'll be quite beautiful. Anyways, I love this fabric. This is one of those ones, like this one, Heartland, and Sand. I would take a yard of all 3 of them. They're just gorgeous. Everything looks good on them. Okay. We're getting there. So then on the 3rd, it was no longer Christmas stitching, and I had been woefully negligent in my birthday stitch. This is September Sapphire Fairy by Mirabilia, and she's my birthday stitch this year. So I actually have a before picture. Where did we start out? Because this one was not a new start. There we go. So this is how far I got September, and I think it was mostly in September. I may have worked on it October 3rd. So my birthday is on the 3rd of September, and so I'll start, and then the idea is that I pull it out at least every month on the 3rd of the month to work on it. And it's not a hard and fast rule. I can work on it more if I want to, especially as I get closer to the birthday, because I tried to finish them, my birthday stitches, in 1 year. But I hadn't, just because of the holiday stitching. So this is where I am now. This fabric is a 32 count seraphim linen called Witching Hour. You may recognize it from my swans. It's the same fabric as my swans. I think she'll be really cool on it. The colors are so pretty. And of course the sun comes out right when I want to show it. So it's going to be overexposed, but you get the basic idea. Just lose some of the richness of the color. It's interesting. Anyways, she's beautiful. I think I found that I do need to get a couple Krynics. Yes. Blending filament. Krynic blending filament. So that's creating some holes in my stitching, but I'll get them. I will get them. There's still plenty of cotton stitching to do before it absolutely must happen. Okay, this was, I saw it and purchased it at the Jingle Ball in the start of December. I don't think it was an exclusive, but don't quote me on that. Moonbeam Tea by Ink Circles. I just fell in love with it. I was like, okay, well that needs to go on my coffee wall basically, but it'll be the tea because I also drink tea. I love tea. And I'm stitching it on a 14 count Aida, hand dyed by me. And I don't know what the best way to show it is. It's reading very purpley blue. In person it has a bit more of a teal undertone to it, but anyways, awesome. Yeah, the lighting's just weird today. That's okay. That's my start. Pretty fun. This one will go really fast, I think. Yeah, because it's just not complicated, which is nice because other ones like Enchanted Aurora or the Kingfisher, like they take focus. They take focus. All right, last but not least, an impulsive start, which I don't actually have a picture I can show you. So because you know how magazines are, sometimes they just do a chart, but they don't give a picture with the chart. I wish they would. Here, if I can bend this. This is in the same section, but they're these cute little like, oh my gosh, so cute. Doreen Jones, Margaret Sherry, similar vibes, but Margaret Sherry. This was published in a mystery year. It's not one of their like, it's a special edition one. Passion for Craft. Margaret Sherry cross stitch collection. Anyway, that's the cover. I've had it for, at least since 2019, I would say. And I've always dreamed of doing, in fact, I even have the floss pulled here for it. I love, I love this sweet little cat with his bouquet and the sweet butterfly. I love that one. I guess there was a tag on it. And then I also love a couple of the Christmas ones are just fantastic. And I've almost started them many times. Like this one, Carolers. They're so cute. Where's the one with the car? The one with the car just gives me a giggle. Will that one show it? Yeah, there's a small picture of it. It's so cute. The mouse catching the package off the back. Hilarious. Adorable. Anyway, so I'm stitching a cute little Valentine's Day guy out of that. Here, and that's how I've gotten done. So you can actually start to tell he's kind of a kitty cat. There's a lot of back stitching on these, so a lot of the form doesn't come until later, like the whiskers and little things that actually make him look like a cat. But last night I finished the dark red and added all the grays. So pretty fun. This is the same piece. I think it's a 32 count opalescent white something. It was just a scrap I bought at Reflections last year because I wanted to stitch this little Primus Cottage, I think is what it is. I don't have the bag. But I have a companion piece with two like lovebirds that'll be the same size. So I can get 3 projects out of this basically. And they'll make a cute little fun matchy display at some point. So that's really fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm not huge Valentine's, or I haven't in the past been a huge Valentine's Day person. Like, nothing against Valentine's Day. It's a really fun holiday if it's what you like, right? It can be a really difficult holiday for people. I've definitely had a couple of Valentine's Days that were the pitsy pits, like the worst. But just overall, I don't know. It's just, I've never gotten super into it. But I was watching Elizabeth Ann can stitch the other day, and she was talking about how she loves Valentine's Day, not because necessarily the love aspect of it, but just because of the colors. And it's just such a cute feminine holiday in a lot of ways, and you know, pink and red is so fun together. I was like, okay, maybe that's why I've been a little bit more drawn to it in the last year or so, because this is the first time, last year was the first time I'd ever done a Valentine's Day specific stitch, and here this year I was kind of like finding another one, and then in my plans I have another one. So you know, maybe it's the colors that I'm being drawn to into Valentine's Day. I can totally lean into that part of it. It is fun. It is very cute, the color scheme. So that is all of my stitching. And now I have a little bit of haul. Well, actually, there's a bit of haul. We're gonna kind of fly through the haul, and then I've got some plans, and then I'll let y'all skedaddle. But it'll probably be, you know, we've probably got a little bit more. So let's look at haul first. So first, I got a fabulously fun, totally unexpected Stitchy Kindness box right around Christmas. I don't remember exactly when it came, but it was right around Christmas, and she had this lovely person, Lucy, she had sent me a package in the past. And so she must have saved my address because I had no idea this was coming. Normally, people reach out in their lovely kindness and they're like, hey, would you be interested? Or I have this thing, would you like it? And I'm like, yes, please. That would be awesome. And but she totally just surprised me. She blew me away. And it was like this box, and in the bottom it was like layers of happiness. It was like a cake of stitchy goodness. And the top had patterns, and then I had fabric, and they were all folded pretty, and then it had like a layer of DMCs, which was awesome because I was in serious need of replenishment, and that filled like over half of what I needed, and that was just magic. So that was awesome. So I'll show you a few of the fabrics. Some of them are very small, so I will have to invest in a different brain or some magnifying glasses, but the fabrics are very, very pretty. So this one's Fiber on a Whim. It's a 46 count cappuccino. Very pretty. It would be perfect for a sampler or something. Really, really pretty. And then this one is another Fiber on a Whim Cafe a lot. Cafe au lait? Maybe that's how it's said. French. I have to practice my pronunciations here. Reading is harder than just saying. Really cool. I love this one has kind of a green overdye on the same kind of pinky brown, pinky tan. This one is parchment, 40 count. This is a big piece. And it's much greener in person than it's showing in the camera. You almost get it in this bottom area. Like, it's quite green. But 40 count, I could totally do 40 count. 46 count is very small. I suppose once you get used to it, your brain would process it better. This is 36 count Dunes. 36 count I use. That's great. They're all great. But like, this is probably one I would go to faster than the others. And the 40 count, you know, I've got a couple projects. Anyways, beautiful, awesome sampler backgrounds or whatevers. And then there's this stack of patterns, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll show you. She gave a number of samplers that are just really cool, and I'd never seen them before. This is called Sarah Elizabeth Brooke, 1842. And it's interesting. I don't know that I love the house, but I love everything else going on around it. So I'm just gonna like tuck it away, and maybe one day I will want to, I don't know, it feels kind of like a prison to me, or a school. We'll think it's a school. A school's a happier place. Anyways, but I love some of the little motifs. They're really cute, like the bird and this little dog or whatever, and they're just fun. And I like that it's not a mirror image, one side to another. Like, the tree is different, the motifs are different. This kind of parrot looking guy is awesome. It's cool. I'd never seen it. This one's really neat. GGR and Maughan, 1851. But this is, I mean, it's really neat. It says the south view of Solomon's Temple, and then names at the bottom. But it'd be interesting to do a floss toss on this one, because I would love to see what actually goes into. They look really cool. This one's neat. I love this peacock dude. His feathers are all wonky. Pretty cool. Anyway, so there were a number of samplers in there, a number of prairie schoolers. This one's cute. I don't think I've seen that one. It's really fun to see things. Love me some Satsuma. There were some prairie schoolers. This is fun. So I've discovered through inspiration on Instagram that I love prairie schoolers with color conversions. And so now I have all these awesome nutcrackers and the 12 days of Santas with color conversions. Oh my Lanta, I am so excited. Like, those will probably get a start at Christmas time. And then a couple of Pineberry Lanes, which I also love their designs. This one I'm excited for. I almost kitted up spring, like the moment I saw it. I love Charles Wysocki. Anyways, it's just full of really cool goodness, and there's so much more than even like in my hands. It was very generous. Thank you so much, Lucy. I had so much fun going through it, and it was really fun to have it be a complete unexpected surprise. Like, it really brightened my day. Thank you so much. I'm planning on keeping a large number of them, and then I have a couple set aside that I actually had duplicates of, and so those will feature in future giveaways. Yeah, very fun. So that was great. Thank you very much. I also want to thank, I have a note. Where'd it go? Here we go. Mar, Michelle, and Janet bought me coffees through my Buy Me a Coffee. I always have linked to my page, and just wanted to say thank you for those Christmas donations. I kind of held on to them for a few weeks as I built up and kind of tweaked my 1, 2, 3 stitch cart, and then I went shopping. And it made it so I had Happy Mail coming this month, this dark gray month. And so thank you so much for that. And let's see what I got. I got a bunch of DMC, so those are boring and those are already like bobbinated into my stash. But I also got Joan Elliott's Ladybird Fairy. Oh, I've been watching her for quite a while. She's glaring because sunshine. But these are all ladybugs. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And sitting on the little dandelions, I know dandelions are a weed. I get it. They're invasive into manicured lawns. But I love dandelions. I love the process of them being these bright, happy yellow spots through fields, and then they turn to these magical, wishy flowers. And anyways, they're awesome. So this is just, I love it. I don't know what color I'll stitch her on. I'll have to see like what comes in my subscription over the next few months and see, because I think I would love to start her, sometime summery time. And I have her Crynecks. I ordered her Crynecks at the same time, so they all came together, and so I'm ready to go. Just have to find the perfect linen and pull DMCs for him. So my Floss Fix came, which is my 5 classic color works I get every month, or 6 classic color works I get every month. January's were these lovely, it's alphabetical, so you can kind of predict what's coming, but it's great. I've been doing it for a few months now, and I love it. I'm going to keep it going through the year because it's helping build my stash so I can do conversions and stuff like that. December's Bestitch Me is Blue Moon. I've seen a couple other people show it. It's gorgeous. And a few people have mentioned it's perfect for the Hello from Liz Matthews pumpkin house, like for the top half of it where the house sits. It really is. I don't think I'll use it for that, just because I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't have any plans for it yet, so I can't really say one way or another, but it's gorgeous. I love it. And the next one should be shipping out in the next week, so that'll be fun to see what January's will be. Okay, so the last little bit of my haul was a couple of tiny towns. So these come into, it's like the end of haul and the beginning of plans. So for the next, I'm over winter. So I'm going to stitch Valentine's Day for the last week of this month. And then my theme for February is Literary February. So anything that features a book or reminds me of a book counts. Or is even themed off of a specific book. So Valentine's Day I ordered, so the last part of my 1, 2, 3 stitch order was Tiny Blooming Town. Oh, everything's gonna fall apart. It's okay, I'll just pull the floss out. There we go. Tiny Blooming Town and Big Hearted Town, which are so cute. And all I had was the summer seaside tiny town, which I started in August. Excuse me, but I plan to do the full series. So I had a little bit left on my coffee money, so I threw these two into the mix so that I am ready to stitch some seasonal towns, which will be really fun. Let's see here. Let me tuck these back in because I've got their floss. The colors are so lovely. Oh, pattern. Sorry. Oops. It was mostly covered by floss, but I didn't actually intend to show that. And then I've started pulling some from Stash for the tiny hearted one. And I've got my fabric, which I'm doing them all on the Picture This Plus sand, which I love. I love, love, love it. So this is kind of my plastic bag of all my tiny towns. I need to get it a project bag. Maybe I'll do that sometime this week. Okay, so that'll be the Valentine's Day one will be in there. I'll keep working on my cute little Kitter Cat with the heart so you can actually see more than a vague blob. I would like to start the castle, which I finally settled on fabric for. So here's my plans for these. They're all the same size. They stitch their sample on a 40 count. It'll say here, fox and rabbit linen prehistoric, which of course is almost impossible to get your hands on. I wasn't going to stitch on a 40 count anyways. I started my first one on a 28 count, so I'm going to keep them all on 28 counts. And I'm going to do them as a flat finish with magnets on the back so I can put them in the same frame or on the same, I don't know if I'll put them on, I feel like a frame or something that has a piece of metal in it that I could actually magnet them to is kind of what I envision for it. But that way I can stitch all 12 houses and then just switch them out every month in the same place, and it'll make a really condensed storage for them with them being flat. So that's the plan. And because of that, on my first one, I have like these huge margins, like I'm going to frame it with mats and all kinds of glory. I don't know why I did that, because I've had this idea of transferring them out from, you know, month to month since I started stitching on that. So that was kind of wasteful of my fabric. So I have some regrets, but it's fine. Anyways, because I'm doing a flat finish, I don't need a ton of, I only envision, you know, what is that? 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. It's very similar to what is showing. And then, you know, you need a 1/2 inch or so to fold over. It doesn't take a lot to fold over. You just need enough that it's secure and you can really have enough fabric to bite into with your thread to do the you know what I'm talking about. Lacing. There we go. Lacing it. Yeah. Anyways, so I have shrunk down my piece, which allows about 1.5 inch margin. They finish up on 28 count. It's about 8 inches, which is fabulous. So you don't need a big piece. This is Bestitch Me Lunar, which I have chopped into a bunch of pieces. I'd originally bought it for, as an idea, as an option for that one Summer Quaker, and I wound up going with a different one, so I had big pieces. And anyways, I can get 2 out of this one. I've started my other one on a creamy background. They're just gonna all be different, which is great. I can just work with, you know, what I've got in stash as my patterns come. It's fabulous. The greenhouse, they just announced the greenhouse in the last week. So pretty. So pretty. I don't know if I have one more piece of gray after this one. I don't know if I'll stitch on that or if I'll mix it up. We'll see. Anyways, I do need to edge this. I have not edged a lot of my fabrics. I've noticed as I've been stitching on, like, got all excited about kitting things up and didn't secure those edges. So I need to do that one of these days. But so we're gonna castle. I don't know that I'll finish them. because I'm late to the game, and in the next week and a half, the next one will ship. So, but I want to get a good start on it. And who knows, I might surprise myself and become a little bit obsessed with it and keep going. So, okay, so that's that. I'm gonna look at my notes here. Okay, so Literary February. I have 3 potential projects kitted up that fit my theme. And the first one is Educated. Sunshine is playing tough, which I've had in my stash for at least 7 years, I feel like. It's been in my, I saw it at Acorns and Threads, and it's adorable. And I've had it for a billion jillion years. And I feel like I kit it up, and then I unkit it, and then I kit it up, and then I unkit it. And it's kind of come and gone. I've done my own custom colors. I'm tweaking it so it's a little bit brighter. It's not showing particularly well. But so that one I might start. It fits. The next one is a Gara, Jane Austen, and I think she's lovely. The only sad part about this one is I love this floral border, and that's a ribbon. It's not actually stitching, which I did not realize until I opened the pattern. So kind of a bummer, but that's okay. It's still darling. It's still darling. And it also makes me think of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for some reason. That's like an Aslan to me. Sitting with Lucy under a tree, reading a book. I don't know. So I've got fabric for it. I haven't pulled floss for it yet, but that's easy enough to do. And that would be a really fun start. And then my last one, so I've got all these sticky notes all over it, that could be a potential Literary February start, is the Forest Witch Office, which is just adorable. I have another one that's like a pink office. They're so cute. They would be so cute hanging side by side, like above my computer or something like that. I have some fabulous fabric for it, and I also have not kitted up the floss yet, but it's just DMCs, so it makes it pretty easy. This came from Glitch Stitch AU on Etsy. It's an Etsy pattern. I've got some cute stuff. So I'm fairly confident I will start this one, and that I will start this one. The cat, I'm still not completely sold on my color conversion yet. I mean, this would look good. It's like a brighter, but in keeping with this. But there's part of me, so I've been really inspired by Wolfie Stitches, Lindsay of Wolfie Stitches. She does the most beautiful pastel, like, she puts things on this beautiful like pink or purple or blue fabric, and then does really bright happy colors, and I just have this like pastel vision. Like, how could I make this brighter? There's gonna be a way. So that's kind of like why I'm like, I don't know if I'll start this one, because maybe I want to make him a magical cat. I don't know. But he's definitely not going to be a gray cat. He's going to be a tabby cat. I did pull out I think it's this orange and something else, a brown, to do a tabby cat out of, because I think he'd be so cute as a tabby cat. Anyways, just some thoughts there. But I'm fairly confident I'll start these two, and then in February I'll pull out my Dreaming Lady, and it'll be full into Alice in Wonderland stitches. I have at least 3 that I'll pull out. Yeah, so that'll be really fun. And I'm tempted to start, I have not completely committed to it. I have not cut my fabric yet, but my mom, I was talking to her yesterday, and she is starting the Blue Flower Huckleberry Manor? Huckleberry Farm? You know what I'm talking about. It's been around. It's gorgeous. I actually have the pattern, but I didn't have a good fabric for it, or half of the flosses. But what I did have is Moggy Manor, which I love. I adore this arch of birds and cats. It is so good. Chef's kiss. And the way I think I will stitch it is I'm going to eliminate everything below the grass. It's so cute. I love that the cats are watching the fish. But the only cat I've ever owned myself was from my first marriage, and I don't really feel inclined to put that reminder onto my wall. And so once you eliminate that, then I was like, oh, it actually looks really cute just being the house with the arch of the tree and everything. And I could bring this little like triangle border is echoed here. If I just bring that up, and that becomes my final line. I already know it'll match. So I just bring that up and frame it in as more of a square. Oh, I think it'll be so cute. I love it. So this is totally unplanned, but it's coming from my stash, so it's okay. It's in the safe zone. I do have this beautiful Bestitch Me Ada that I had ordered for something else and then didn't use it for. See if I can get a good... It's so pretty. It's like a blush with other colors. They're very subtle in there. Anyway, it's gorgeous. And I think it works really well. It's very similar to the linen that was used. And then here's it's all DMCs, but for 2. So, and I have them. So I could totally jump into this and it would work. And anyways, my mom was like, you should stitch Huckleberry, whatever it is, with me. And I was like, oh, that'd be so fun. So I pulled it out and I didn't have all the stuff. I was like, well, I don't have the stuff for that, but I have this other blue flower. Maybe I could stitch that with you. You could do Huckleberry and I'll do Moggy. And anyways, so this happened. So I may start this week because Mom actually started Huckleberry yesterday. She already has like the butterfly done. She's super fast. She's amazing. So that would be really fun to stitch with her. Okay. Speaking of stitching with people, last thing, the Needlework Market teasers have begun, and I have only seen one, but I'm very excited. My mom had seen some others that I hadn't seen yet, so I know they're out there. I will be stalking them because Market is my one exception for shopping. I am allowing myself 5 projects. I can pick 5 patterns, not fully kitted projects, but 5 patterns from Market. If I find 5 that I love, I can get 5. But that's my limit. And I've already found one. It's the blue flower. It's called the Praise of Pollinators. Oh my gosh, you guys. I mean, it's a must. It's a have to. And as I was looking at this, I was like, oh my goodness, wouldn't this make the funnest Sal? And I think I'm first because I am talking about it first. I get dibs on it. What did I just do? Info. There we go. But wouldn't this be a fun Sal? Would you guys want to do a Sal with me? And this would not be a casual Sal. Like I've started or participated in a few very, very loose casual Sals. It's more like, let's stitch this and start it together, but we're just kind of like, we're just stitching for fun, really, as a community. But wouldn't it be fun to stitch it in a structured Sal? So I actually already have, I was looking at it, and I've already broken it up into 10 chunks. And would you want to start it with me? Needlework Market is the first week of March. If you allow for the market to happen, them to get home and process the orders and shipping time, I think we could start it by April 30th really safely. You want to join me? It'd be hashtag Pollinator Sal, the Pollinator Sal. I think it'd be really fun. I'm going to do it. I hope you'll join me because I think it'll be super fun. I mean, we've got a month before we can even have access to pre-orders, but I think Lindsay Stitches has started her pre-orders for that. I think that's where I saw it. But yeah, I'm in if you guys are in. Well, I mean, I'm in either way. I'm gonna do it. But I hope you'll join me. I think it would be super duper fun, and it's gorgeous. I mean, I have to admit, the first thing I fell in love with was the giant bat, the fruit bat. Like, I mean, it's awesome. But everything's so good. Like so many of her charts, the more you look, the more you see butterflies and hummingbirds and lemurs, and I mean, it's excellent. It's so good. Okay, so blue flower, Praise of the Pollinators. It's going to be a sale starting April 30th. So we've got 3 months, a month to dream about it, and then 2 months almost to kit it up. lots of head time for it, but yeah, I think that would be super, super fun. It's so pretty. I love the blue flower. I love her charts. In the meantime, I'll stitch the ones I have. But yeah. So that's what I've been up to. That's where my brain is trending. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So Valentine's kind of for the next week, and then I'll jump into literary February, and yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a party. But that's my 12 by 12. That's what I've been doing for January. I hope you've enjoyed seeing that. It's been fun going through everything. It was fun to get everything pressed. Some of my projects were super wrinkly. Yep. Anyways, I hope you have a happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday right now. Whatever day you watch this. I try not to say days because I feel like everybody watches it at different times and in different chunks of time, and I don't like to date things necessarily, but it's Tuesday. So I guess I dated this one on a Tuesday. Yes. Take care, my friends. Happy stitching. I hope you're well, and I will be back soon. Bye.